What's good, Liberators? Fingers here, and this is Dx2 Demon Review, and today we are talking about the fallen angel, sexy Satan himself, the tyrant, Lucifer. And we may be on the cusp of everyone's favorite narrative device, and that is the redemption arc for Lucifer here, because he has been blessed with a grade 98 since the inception of the game. I've never taken the grade system seriously because it just seems all kinds of random. And to be honest, Lucifer and his brother Metatron really have never earned that respective grade in their form and function within this game. But now, with the advent of Panel 4, God help us all, we may be seeing Lucifer in a whole new light. So let's check this morning star out. The one who rules hell and all of its inhabitants, formerly known as the Archangel of Light. His name means morning star, and before he fell, he was the chief of the seraphim. With the third of God's angels on his side, Lucifer rebelled against God. He was defeated by God's superior forces, however, and in hell awaits his chance to strike again. Hell yeah! I'm running chaos the next time I play any Shin Megami Tensei game, just for that description. Now let's check him out in detail. As for the stats, magic. This is the one. This is the only one you really want to get there. Not the only one, but the main one you want to focus on. With a not so great innate magic stat of 186, you can amp that up to 206 with the Mitamas, and you can add an additional 20 to that, bringing it to 226 with the Sin Infusion materials, and you can add another 30 to that with panels, bringing him up to, what would it be, 256, and you can, I haven't run him in PvP, but I've fought against him, I've seen him in action, and it's definitely something to consider. As for the other stats, if you are running him in PvP, Vitality is probably one that you're going to really want to consider, probably dump another 20 into that. And as for the rest, with his agility stat, Lucifer's an almighty attacker, so ideally you want to set him up so he's immediately following a demon that's either exposing a weakness or critting, giving you that half press turn, because you don't want him wasting a full press turn on his almighty attack. So if you can somehow set that up so that he goes right after a demon who's getting that half press turn, that's what you want to do. So you can play with his agility to match whatever demon you're running him with that you want to go before him. If you give him the same agility, you can make Lucifer go second just by placing him second in the turn order when you're putting your team together. And what I mean by that is when you're in the demon menu and you're selecting the demons, the slot on the far left is spot 1, the top spot is spot 2, the bottom spot is spot 3, and the spot on the far right is spot 4. So if you put Lucifer in slot 1 and the same agility demon in slot 2, Lucifer will go first. If you flip him around, the other demon will go before Lucifer. That's just how it works in the game. Fun little inside baseball for you. So that's what you would probably do with his agility stat if you're looking to run him in PvP or anywhere really effectively. And as for the repels darkness, weak to light, pretty useless, all things considered, because everything pierces through everything. As for the skills, first transferable, Megadolone inflicts almighty magic damage on all enemies with a power of 120. Strongest almighty transferable. Okay, that works, but it pales in comparison to what's a-coming. And for his second skill, Trisagion, the most powerful single target transferable fire magic damage attack with the power of 180. Cool, but not the star of this particular show. And finally, the big money. The unique skill, Morning Star, inflicts almighty magic damage on all enemies with the power of 150. And Boom. And to this day, I still believe this is the strongest almighty sweep attack in the game. Doesn't get any better than 150. And I have a love-hate relationship with almighty attacks. That's because they can be great, but at the same time not being able to expose weaknesses and gain half press turns. You got to strike that balance, which is why I say you got to get him to go right after someone who's causing a half press turn, so he doesn't burn a full one. Because press turns are the name of the game. You gotta make it happen if you're gonna run Lucifer here. And if you level it up, plus 20% damage using this skill. And this is the beginning of the damage stack you're gonna be able to put on this guy. So remember this. Plus 20% if you level this up to full. And piling on, we've got him in the Psychic Archetype, which gives him Butcher. Plus 20% damage to skills that damage all or random enemies. Again, piling on with that 20% from leveling Morningstar. Boom. As with the transferables, depending on what you're using him for, I have not run him in PvP as of yet. If I panel for him in the near future, I will definitely give him a try. But for now, I've got him with Berserker. 10% increases damage by 10%, but it increases the damage you take by 20%. And for what I've used him for in the past, specifically Origate 1, farming the top floor of Origate 1, and more recently to take down Hell's Park 100 in one turn, video to come. So that's why that's there, but Serial Killer would probably be better because it's 10% damage boost to multi-hit attacks, all sweeping attacks, without the plus 20% of damage received, because that's going to, if you're running him in PvP, that's devastating. You can't have any of that. And for his other slot, Concentrate, a popular pick back in the day, because you could spike this boy's damage up to ridiculous degrees with the Concentrate Morningstar Templar Dragon combo. And it's gotten even more ridiculous with his panels, which we will get into soon. As for brands, spell brands or divine brands, there's really no other thing to consider. Morningstar does cost 7 MP, so it is somewhat costly. If you're running him in PvP, you can either set up for the one massive hit that wipes out everybody, or you can bank on having him build him a little more durable, have him firing off a few times with those divine brands. Instead of Concentrate, give him Endure, Enduring Soul, double Enduring Souls. They're double Enduring Soul, Enduring Soul Plus, Enduring Soul Plus Plus, Enduring Soul Plus Plus Plus, full revive. Yes, buckle up, boys, because that's coming. It is only a matter of time. So depending on what you want to do, spell brands, boom, divine brands, boom. I've got it with lead brands because, like I was saying before, having his turn order be in a very specific place is really important because he strikes with Almighty. So I was using lead brands to get him at a half press turn location to maximize what I was trying to do at the time. But if you're running him in PvP, hey, whatever your team comp is, ward brands, guard brands, shield brands, whatever your poison may be, hell, go with the evasion brands and just make him one of those annoying demons that screws over that hyper speedster physical team, the type of demon I hate so very much. As for the panels and the reason we are all here today, he's got some monsters, folks. Oof. Okay, panel 1, plus 15% to attacks that damage all or random enemies. So again, we're piling on 20% from leveled Morningstar, 20% from Butcher, 10% from Berserk, and or Serial Killer. If Concentrate's in the mix, that's an extra 125% going. Oh, good lord, here we go. Panel 2, plus 50% to max HP, invaluable in PvP. HP is such a huge part, and that is on top of the 100 magic you gain innately from leveling up that panel, not to mention the 550 or the 500 HP you get from panels 1 and 2, and an additional 250 from panel 4. So he is going to be a bulky mofo, meaning those divine brands are probably looking pretty good because he's gonna have quite a bank of health to hold the line for you. And panel 3, formerly the biggest and baddest of them all, plus 25% to almighty damage, piling on with the 15% from his first panel, piling on from the 20% from leveling Morningstar, piling on with the 20% from Butcher. You can see where I'm going with this. Good God, what a monster. And the brand new panel 4, plus 30 to magic, plus 30 to vitality, and activates the following chain effect at the beginning of own turn. So a consistent every turn he fires this off. Reduces attack, defense, evasion, and accuracy of all enemies by 20%. So basically he auto-debilitates every round. And for those of you who've run Earl Conic and have seen how good his auto Charunda every turn is, having that consistent buff it's incredible. I mean, you prevent them from gaining any buff. You either keep them at baseline or you debuff them outright, forcing them to keep rebuffing, and odds are they're never going to get that buff status. They're either going to remain at baseline or get crippled. It can't be understated how useful that consistent auto debuff or buff is. And plus 30 to magic, which, since his magic stat was never great off rip, 186 naturally, an extra 30 to that, which will allow you to spike his magic to 256. In addition to the Morningstar 20% damage boost, the Butcher 20% damage boost, Berserker, Serial Killer, another 10%, Spirit Pen, 15%, target all random enemies, 25% almighty. Good God, we are into some insane numbers. Pile that on with a defense debuff every turn, and good Lord, all you're missing is someone to throw Tarukaja on him, and he will nuke most opponents from orbit without a second thought. So, redemption arc complete. Something to consider. Before this goes on for too long, let's check out his other archetypes, though if memory serves, they ain't none too great. So let's see what we got here. Where is Mr. Satan? There you are, hiding next to Mara. Okay, for the Origami archetype, we got Mind Blast. Almighty magic damage on a single enemy and reduces MP by 4. Power 100, cost of 6 MP. If you're running in PvP, having a little cheap shot ability that steals MP can throw a nice random factor into things, but if you're not nuking with Morningstar, you're probably doing something wrong. So, pass. The Protector archetype, Rakarmdra. Always a fun one to run into on PvP, though Satan or your DPS demons usually aren't the ones who spit this kind of thing out. Usually it's your support demon, your Lachesis, your Arconic, who's laying it all down for the rest of your DPS demons to beat the other team into oblivion. So, I'm not feeling it, at all. The big winner, the Psychic archetype, Butcher, which, as we have stated many times, good God, 20% of damage on all those sweeping attacks. Hell yeah. And the Elementalist archetype, Drain Light. It does cover his weakness, and if you are running him on a team where you're giving him Divine Brands, Enduring Soul, that kind of thing, and you want him to stay alive for a few turns so just that he can just consistently bludgeon people with Morningstar. Like if you run him with Angra, who's pumping up his MP by 2 for those first 2 turns, I can see it. You know, you got Angra in there. You got what's his tits, Demiurge. I can see this. And covers that light weakness. So something to be said there. I won't hate on the Elementalist archetype this time around because I can see the potential. I can't test it out because I don't have Demiurge, and I don't have his panel 4 yet to run this, but definitely something to consider. And before we wrap this up, I must compliment his design, though ladies, if this appeals to you, as I imagine it does, you will be very disappointed, because as you can see here, Lucifer is smoother than a Ken doll, so unless you're up for a hot night of scissoring action, he is going to leave you somewhat disappointed. Don't get captured.